Welcome back to another video. This is gonna be a video of the 5 things that I hate, not really hate, more dislike about my truck, my 2017/2016, well, my 2017, my dad's 2016, just these 3500 flatbeds in general. So, I'm not gonna say the word hate because I generally don't hate nothing about my vehicle. I have some stuff that I dislike, but not hate. So we'll get into the topic, or the first topic would be, well, there's no particular order. I'm gonna just go off the top of my head. One of the things that I really dislike about my truck would be MPGs, fuel mileage. Typically, I can average between, when I got the trailer loaded, 10, 12, depending on how I drive. Without the trailer, I could average 12, 15 more or less. With a container, 5, 7, something whack like that. But you know, it all comes with depending on what I'm hauling and what am I doing and how I'm driving. You know, it's just the nature of the beast. I just can't really complain about it. They're diesel. It's not that they chug a lot of fuel, but you know, they chug a considerable amount, and that'll be the first thing that I really dislike about my truck. Another thing that I dislike about my truck, it's kind of a dislike and a like, so I don't know. So again, mind you, I don't really hate nothing about my truck, but one thing that I dislike sometimes is that I can't just throw stuff in the bed. I got a flatbed. That's the main reason. I can't just go, you know, if you got a soda can, random garbage, dirty boots or something, you know, you can just chunk them in the bed of the vehicle of your truck and you're good to go. You go. But me, I don't have that luxury. Eventually, I might have that luxury due to the fact that I'll probably build like a little wooden perimeter around my my flatbed. But you know, it's not a big deal. I love my flatbed. I love seeing some videos beforehand where they can just straight up just load me and I don't have to worry about smacking the wall of my bed and all this other stuff. I've also heard, I've heard but I've never seen stories of people who do hot shot and they can sometimes swing a little bit hard to the left or right, and they could be in an incline, and due to the fact that they're in an incline, they could well, it's a severe incline, they can crunch the bed of their truck. So then they got their bed all wonky and looking kind of gross. But you know, I guess it all just depends on how they drive and how much of a technique you got to it. So give me 1 second, let me reverse this thing into my lot, and then I'll continue on with the video. Sweet. First shot, reversing, making it straight back, hitting the bump stops, not going too far back. I say that's a success in itself. So now, let's unhook this bad boy, continue on with the video. Alright, so now that we have offloaded the trailer, because there was nothing really worthwhile to haul today, so came to park it here so I wouldn't take up so much room in my neighborhood. Let me get on to my number 3 thing. The third thing that I dislike about my truck. Okay, this is, I guess per se, mostly, well, I mean, if you have a more higher trim level truck, you probably don't experience this, you know, because you're That was a rooster. Because you're fancy and stuff. But me, I got these leather seats right here. And boy, let me tell you, in this Texas sun sometimes, golly, they get roasty, man, and toasty. You come back and just sit down on them and, oh, dude, it doesn't burn you. I mean, it burns, but it doesn't, like, it's not an exaggerated burn. It's just something like, this sucks. And it's just like, and when it's cold right here in Texas. Also, when you sit on the seats, they're flipping cold. Like, it's crazy. Like, it's just a seat thing, you know. It's, you sit in it for like 30 seconds and you'll be fine, you know. You adjust pretty quick and the temperature changes pretty quick. But that's just like another little snippet of a thing I dislike. You're kind of noticing that I'm having to think hard about stuff that I dislike about my truck, because it's an amazing truck. Here's another thing that I really dislike about my truck, and I didn't really notice it up until I had to, by law, change it, which is the window tint. When I first purchased my truck, since it was like base model, I went to a shop and they put a remote lock and unlock and a remote start to my truck, which phenomenal, you know. It's crazy. I don't really care about much, but I got remote start. I got the unlock and lock and unlock with my key fob, and they also threw in some tint. I had the back tints already done, so I just got the driver, passenger, and the eyebrow up here on the windshield. So I got it 25%, because that's illegal here in Texas, 25%. But those are for non-commercial vehicles. So, you know, I was riding one day, coming back from good old Corpus Christi, and I got pulled over at a checkpoint. Actually, my parents got pulled over at the checkpoint, and they gave them a warning about their window tint. So this was White Dove. That we also did window tint on both trucks. So White Dove had black window tint. They told him to remove it, you know, eventually fix the ticket pretty much. And my parents told us to just rip it off, because we had 25%, and legally you can only have 75%. And even the same officers told us it's kind of no point putting 75, because they're like, you still don't see much. But dude, there's such a difference between having tinted windows and not having tinted windows. It sucks. It sucks not having tinted windows. I see some other hot shotters, they get away with it. They open their windows, or, you know, there's apparently you can get a doctor's note and you can get away with it that way too. But I don't know. Eventually I might try one of those techniques. Eventually I might try to get my window tint back. But for right now, I don't want to call attention to myself. I want to, you know, fly under the radar as much as I can, so, you know, I can get from point A to point B without issues. So that will be my number third was the seats, 4 is the window tint. So yeah, that's the number 4, the window tint. And finally, for my number 5, let me see. It's a dislike, but it's also like a personal preference of mine, specifically dualies. And since it's I don't know, it might also be with the wideness of the tailgate or the beds of the other dualies, but me, since I got like a 8.5 foot wide flatbed in the back, whenever I go anywhere, because mind you, this is also my daily vehicle for the most part, I normally park at the very back of the parking lots of stores. I don't like to park in the front. Regardless, it doesn't matter what kind of vehicle I have. Even if when I had like a 2000 Ranger, I would always park in the kind of middle to the back, because I don't like parking in the front. I feel like more people, more accidents, more, you know, it's just more of a easier way to get your stuff messed up. But with these dualies, like, even having to park way in the back is sometimes also a challenge, and especially with how long it is. Like, your nose always sticks out, and your bed always sticks out like a foot or two extra from the parking spots. So having to park really far away from the stores, which is like a dislike, but it's also like I don't mind. But, you know, if I have to pick something, that would be something that I kind of dislike. But, you know, I love my truck all around. Wouldn't trade it for the world. Maybe for a bigger one. you know. But other than that, I love this thing. But also, I don't really hate anything about my truck. It's just the little, if I have to nitpick and pick 5 things that I dislike and not really hate, well, it would have to be fuel mileage, the flatbed at times, the seats, tint, and how massive it is. But some of these are just sometimes, you know, it's not all the times, because it's only like a 10% of the time when I'm like frustrated about certain things. But for the most part, 90% of the time I enjoy and I love my truck, so can't complain, love it. But anyways, before I just keep on rambling about random stuff, thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Low boards are still looking weak, so got to make up a little video so I don't, you know, keep something posted, keep y'all entertained. So thank y'all for watching. I really appreciate all my supporters, all my followers. Y'all are amazing. You know, like, comment, subscribe, hit the Instagram, j.j.hotshotservice. Catch you on the next one. Bye. Real quick to end off this video, and I just did my outro or whatever, but going into my last fact, I literally just, as you saw, unhooked my trailer. I pulled into this little local barbecue spot that's here in town, and there's a little spot where usually I like to park on the side. Well, it's inside the property, but it's kind of like on the side of the road, which isn't really a parking spot, but if you got a big truck, you can park there. And there's a small vehicle parked there, so I couldn't park there. So I finessed my way to the back. I had to kind of reverse my truck into the road, and then, you know, so I can get more angle to get in. And then I went to the back, which I've never been to the back. I thought it was bigger, but nope, it was very small. So I barely had enough room to turn around and do like a 6-point turn to turn. And then I got into a parking spot, and then right when I got into this parking spot, I thought the employees parked in the back, but apparently there was a customer back there. And as I had parked my truck, like I said, this thing's long, he couldn't squeeze through, which he could have, but he didn't want to because he was scared. Whatever. So I ended up just leaving the property. And now I'm getting food somewhere else. Big truck problems.